I gave a talk down at the University Place Library down the street. I was asked to come and give a talk. And I will do a demo here today for those who are brave enough to come stand up and let me take a look at your aura. And so that was one of my talks. I was going to talk about auras, and they kept asking a lot of questions, and that's when I knew I needed to get these talks going again. So we're talking about the auras, and so I looked at a couple people's auras, and this one man raises his hand. He's about 34 years old. And I looked at his aura, and it looked like a purple 12-pointed star. So it was definitely sacred geometry, which I don't know much about. Some of you are sacred geometry fanatics, and we need you to be. But I could see this in his field, and I thought, oh great, I haven't seen this. I'm not sure what to do about this, and I most certainly didn't want to bring it up in the group because I didn't want to open a can of worms that I might not be able to close again. You don't want to crack someone wide open in the front of the room and then have them drive home or go home to their families, so I'm sensitive to that. And so I said, well, let me look at something else. And then I heard my guide say he had an event that happened about 6 months ago that dramatically changed his life. So then I said, you had an event? I repeated what I was told. And he said, yes, actually, I had something that happened. I had a dream, or I woke up from a dream, and I was put in a mental hospital 6 months ago. And so what he explained to the whole group at the library, he said, I was a U.S. Marine. He said, I was in Iraq. I did 2 tours in Iraq. Came home to my wife, and I just really was ready to make a life for myself, and I wanted to have money, and I wanted to have things, and I wanted to have stability. He said, I became a stockbroker. He said, I had a beautiful house, a beautiful wife, beautiful cars and boats. And he said, if it was something I could buy, I bought it. He said, I was very materialistic. He said, then one night I woke up, and my room was full of these golden beings. And they said, you are a star being. You have come from the stars, and your job is to anchor that new starlight into the earth, because we're creating a new earth. And he woke his wife up right away, and he said, you're not going to believe what happened. He repeats the story to her. She freaks out. She calls an ambulance. And so anyway, ends up in the hospital. So he was in the mental hospital for 2 weeks, and as he was sharing the story, he said that the doctor, he was having to see the doctor, and he was having to do the group therapy, but he kept talking very normal about this experience, and the experience didn't stop. It was like he was materialistic one day, and the next day he's very spiritual. And the doctor, this is in his words, he told me, the doctor said, you're tracking everything that I say. I have to describe what's going on for you would be hallucinations, a mental health issue, but I don't know what to diagnose you with, so I guess I'll diagnose you as bipolar. And gave him medication. Oh. So he went home, but he refused to take the medication. These beings came in and said he was going to have to leave his wife because she was not going to be able to go where he was going. And then he was living in South Carolina. And then the beings told him, you need to move to Tacoma, Washington. Because in Tacoma, Washington, there's a large community of people that will know how to support you. So he actually did have family in Bonnie Lake, so he was staying at their house. He had only been in town a couple of weeks, and then the voice came, the people came, beings came, and said, you need to drive to University Place, to the University Library tonight, because there's going to be a woman there that's going to know exactly what's going on for you. Is that not a wild story? And I sat there because I was like, this is what my guides had been telling me. That people would be normal one minute and very not normal the next minute. anyway, he's thriving. He's living here in Tacoma, and he's working, and I will have him come speak at our next gathering. An incredible man. He does talk about aliens a lot, though. And I'm not an alien kind of gal. But you can ask me alien questions if you want. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But we all, and he always laughs because he says, Nancy, I can't believe you won't talk about aliens because they're the host of the party. They're the host of the changes that are happening on the earth. And it's like, well, I don't know that that's a truth, but I definitely can tell that that's a big block for me. But there's a lot. We're all, the rocks are becoming more conscious. The trees are becoming more conscious. So how the mechanics of that is happening, I can't explain it. So that's kind of how all these kind of waves have been coming in, these waves of consciousness, and they will continue to come in. And so all of you are here because of that.